Welcome to episode 11 of the Project Stardust podcast. I'm Jordan and I have Christian Terry by my side. We're going to talk about Star Wars today. And to break things off, we have breaking news about the Acolyte Season 2 being canceled by Disney Plus. What are your initial thoughts on this big subject matter?
It kind of sucks because when the show was first coming out, everybody had such high hopes for it. So to see this, I mean, it kind of makes sense because everybody didn't get the outcome that they wanted, and it's kind of disheartening to say. My reasoning behind it, I feel like maybe it didn't touch a lot of viewers. Besides everyone else's argument that they try to implicate like a lot of woke stuff or whatever, my issue with it was that Leslie kept talking like after after every episode, and she just kept saying like, "Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I just wrote it like Breaking Bad, so I wanted to have multiple different plots and everything." You're like, "What?" And then she was like, "Yeah, did no one not understand this reference? This is because of this." And blah 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 blah. I don't know. I just felt like her talking and explaining every episode after the episode would come out. I mean, it's cool, but I just think it was like you kind of are just ruining the show. Like, because to us, it's like hearing when, The Last Jedi came out and Rise of Skywalker. We started hearing the behind the scenes of, yeah, they had no idea what they wanted to write. They just came up with it on the spot, Like, to me, that's just not cool. I mean, it's kind of like, well, why would I want to watch this if you came up with it on the spot? I mean, because it wasn't good, is what I'm trying to say. The Acolyte, It had a very promising story, but it just, I don't know. It was just crazy. The fighting was cool. I enjoyed the fighting, but hey, the story was weird. What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, to your point of explaining after the show, I feel like there's a difference between her doing it versus
Right.
Tony Gilroy, one of the writers
Yeah.
for Andor, talking about it after it and discussing it because they've given us so much and so many context to the story and so many layers to it so that we could break it down further. This one, we're just breaking it down to try to understand it because we don't understand what's going on. So I think there's a big difference in between Acolyte and Andor if we're talking about the Star Wars universe there. It's just I feel you. I just feel frustrated as well as the fans that this isn't giving another chance, but at the same time, they should have had it in the first shot with season one, just the same way they did with Andor and Mandalorian.
The past couple of days, like after we heard this, because what are we now, like 2 days or a day after where we're at right now? Basically, that like post the news and everything. My thoughts now on it are just like, I think it's for sure a financial thing because I think each episode was like 23 million or 24 million to make. I mean, because it was a very expensive show. It had a very expensive budget, but it just wasn't promising, And I think that's where they drew the line because they're like, well, what are you doing with the budget? Like Andor had less. Like what?
I know it just wasn't a feasible project, and I don't know why they invested so much in an IP that was going to be brought to new fans. Where we have properties such as even the Mandalorian. There is some more to it from the Clone Wars, but we also have this creature that is in the same species as Yoda. So that IP is so much more bigger that we can invest in versus this new idea that we're bringing out to the fans, and I think they've just made a mistake there.
Yeah. Do you have initial worry now about like their other prequel films? Because I know there's going to be the original Jedi movie about how the Jedi Order began. So obviously, if they kind of butchered the Acolyte, don't get me wrong, different writers, but still, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you feel like, oh man, they're going to go back to the drawing board now and be like, well, you know what, we might have to cancel this because Disney Star Wars is very notorious for canceling projects whenever another one does bad. What do you think?
To that point, I totally agree just because of how many projects they have announced at these panels and they have never came to fruition. We've been waiting like so 10 years for so many other projects. So it's just frustrating again. Like I mentioned, it's just so frustrating because they can't stick the landing with a project, and it's just throwing like darts at the board blindly. Like, oh, which one's gonna stick? And it's just not sticking.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing because it's kind of like that's why they stopped giving us Star Wars news. It feels like they're for sure okay with giving us the Mandalorian because they're like, okay, that's gonna be a hit. Like even though season 3 wasn't a banger, like we wanted it to be. the movie's still gonna be good. Okay, cool. We'll give you that, but like they didn't really announce anything else because they're scared to. I feel like now they're like, oh man, like everything we put out at this point is just bad. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. They're thinking. And to go back with the Kathleen Kennedy thing about how she wants to retire on a high note, it's like, when do you retire? After the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Like, like when it's like, I hope it's good, but like, am I worried? Maybe. But then again, I'm not, because we got news about that later. But still, either way, yeah, the Acolyte, yeah, that was a big flop. I'm kind of sad about that. I feel bad for the actors, really. Like, I like both of the actors. I like Manny Jacinto, and I like Amanda Standlerberg. I forgot her last name, but I liked her a lot. I thought she did a great job as Rue. But yeah, just maybe the story just wasn't there. It was just a little weak. It just sucks because it kind of ended a little promising, but it was all over the place. If we're gonna be honest.
I think you forgot about the product so much you called it Rue versus Osha or May.
I was about to call her Rue. Yeah.
You did call her Rue.
Rue. What is she from? District 2, 3? It was 4.
11.
Right, but no. That was Katniss.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Either way, though, man, very tough. I feel bad. I feel bad for the fans, but at the same time, I don't think
like
you should
we liked all the characters though. Daphne Keane.
I like the world. Like I said, I wanted the world to work. I wanted to see more Jedis and everything. I feel like
we wanted to indulge in the world in general. We knew that's where they're heading with this Star Wars story, as they brought out the books and comics that has been new. It's been in that same universe or that same era, really.
Like, I'm not trying to put words in George Lucas's mouth, but like, I'm pretty sure maybe he liked the lore idea behind it. Like, oh, cool, High Republic, cool. I never wanted to do it, but let me see how they do it, and then it happened. Who knows what he thinks about it. Maybe, like I said, maybe he likes the world stuff behind it. Like me, I like the setting. I think it's a great setting to have. It kind of sucks because, it's already been established that there wasn't a lot going on during this time. So it is kind of hard to smush in a story and then try to hide it and be like, well, the future, they're not going to know about this because we're keeping it hidden. And, obviously there's going to be people that are going to have a problem with that, especially if it's not well written. But don't get me wrong, the story wasn't finished yet. So in their defense, I guess you can argue that. But still,
but that's
kind of crazy.
You should have finished it in the first season before you got greenlit. If the Mandalorian ended with that season 1, I think it still would have been great.
That's true. Yeah, honestly, that is true. Yeah, because the way they she even said too that she wrote it like a cliffhanger, like even before the final episode came out too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, she shouldn't just have talked. Like, kind of sucks that she did that. You could talk, but I think, like what you said, there's certain ways of explaining it and, things, and your work should really do all the talking, in my opinion. Like,
and we didn't see where that budget of 180 million went to. With that editing and the short episodes, I just don't know where it went to.
And then another crazy thing that we're going to add about the Acolyte, before I move on to the next topic, is about how they took off all the stuff on Shop Disney, like all the merch, and then they put it back on after everybody complained. But now there's a big worry that they might take down the Acolyte off the Disney Plus, like they did for Willow, that one show. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a big outcry not to do it because it is messed up. But supposedly the reason that streaming services do that is for tax purposes. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think, like, if they take that down, do you think it's going to happen? And do you also think too, does this mean that the lore is no longer canon? Because that's another question I've been seeing going around too.
Oh, they just disregard it?
Yeah, they're just like, well, it didn't exist. Like, we tried.
That'd be so funny.
I mean, that's a lot of people's guess. But what are your thoughts?
It was interesting that they did take it down. I do believe that. I was really surprised as well, and they did end up putting it back. And
merch,
it was just a big outcry for no reason. I believe just because I saw there was only 4 shirts of the Acolyte.
Yeah.
That's it. The mask is already sold out, so that's gone already. But
the Black Series mask.
4 shirts that were displayed on the site. So I don't understand why people were having such a big outcry about it when I'm sure it wasn't being bought immediately or sold out.
Yeah. No, I think it's more leading towards the streaming because they're like, well, if they're going to do that to the merchandise, they're going to do that to the show because that's what happened with Willow because they're trying to connect it to that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm
show,
curious.
they'll take it
Yeah,
down.
I'm curious with the metrics of how that works, but I don't think
Okay.
the show will be taken down. I don't think so.
Okay.
That's like taking down the holiday special or the Ewok special.
That's true, but streaming services have been very notorious for doing that for tax reasons. So we'll see
Hmm.
what happens. Because, and that's the one thing I don't like what Bob Iger always says about all this. He's like, we're going to go back to the board. We just got to write the right stories, and we got to make sure that they're not associated with today's world. And he just always says that. And it's like, hey, man, like you're in control of it too. You should really look at what's getting put out. It kind of just makes you wonder, what is he doing? I mean, don't
No,
get me wrong, he's looking at
definitely.
the financial stuff, but it's like, where's the quality stuff that you're talking about every time something bad happens?
Definitely. And people were rebelling. I saw in this one Reddit post how they were signed up to this website called change.org to try to renew the Acolyte. They've hit 7,200 signatures at that time out of 7,500, but they're just really
Damn.
trying to get it renewed. And
Damn.
they're rebelling to a point where they're deleting their Disney Plus. They can comment on why they deleted their
Oh,
Disney
wow.
Plus. So they're
Oh,
rebelling
wow.
in some form to try to get what they want, which I appreciate. If you love that story, go for it.
Well,
Let's write it out then.
yeah.
But we have to
Hmm.
see if they're gonna
Yeah.
even bring out the money to
Yeah. Write it
do
out
it
good.
again. But
That
like I
too. Yeah.
mentioned,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
I just
another
don't
thing.
like
Oh, good.
yeah. Oh yeah, I just don't like how we are again sticking things to the wall to see what works or not. And this
Yeah.
isn't something new. We did this with Boba Fett. It didn't work or didn't reach their
Hmm.
expectations of what they felt like it was. So they're not renewing it, and they are even debating on whether or not to bring back the character Boba Fett. So I don't
I
know.
know. Yeah. That's terrible because he didn't do anything. Tamora Morrison, like the actor, he loves that character. I love Boba Fett too. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I guess
Everyone
one series
does.
it did bad, but Boba Fett's iconic. Like, you can't just get rid of him. That's the main IP. But besides that, I just want to add one more thing about the Acolyte. So the news has also been saying too that there was a major drop in viewership over the span of the episodes, like majorly. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to add that too as well because we forgot to add that.
Which I'm curious about just on the metrics and data on that as well, because we
Yeah.
were reading how throughout each week they were gaining more viewers. It's one of the most viewed shows on Disney Plus, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious about. Is this a headlines to kind of dissuade audiences to want to renew it or not, you know?
Maybe. Yeah.
But again,
We.
I love that era of Star Wars. I'd love to learn more about it. I just wish it was a
Mm-hmm.
stronger project, and I really do wonder if the editing and episode length would have actually helped this project in
Probably.
getting positive reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard complaints from the writers on Twitter, especially when they were like, "Yeah, we had a time construct of like how long we can have the episode, so we couldn't add a lot." And you're just
And
there, and you're like, "That sucks. That's kind of dumb,"
it just
with a big
confuses
budget like
me.
that.
Yeah, it just confuses me because Andor was a 3 month project of being put out every week on Disney Plus, and
Yeah,
everyone still loved it. They had no critiques about it.
yeah. You know where I think that budget went? I think that budget went for actors pay. It definitely
There's
didn't
no
go for quality,
RDJ that we're hiring.
bro. I
Oh
mean,
my
we're
gosh.
hiring the
Yeah, I
dude
don't
from
know.
Squid Games. We're hiring the chick from The Matrix. We're hiring freaking Torben from Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, even though he didn't do much. Um, the dude that plays as Chewbacca, he's also he's Ken Laka. So I mean, I'm just saying, I'm throwing out names here. Like, they weren't A-listers, but they were A-listers previously. So they gotta bring out the big bucks.
Uh, I
Oh
just want
well,
justification on how much on why it costs $180 million. Jumping into
probably.
another project we were talking about a lot. This is off the script of what we are talking about, but you
Mhm.
sent me this was Adria Arjona was saying that season 2 is better than season 1 of Andor.
Oh yes, yes, and I am with
Yeah.
that. I hope they see
She
improvement. I mean,
states, yeah, she states, I started reading season 2, I was like, it's not going to be as good, but it really is better. It's so much better. What he has written and has crafted and created is mind blowing.
what he has written. No, but it's gonna be really good. I know I have high hopes for it because we talked about it before. I think like every 3 episodes is going to be a span of like 2 years or a couple years. It's going to be good. We're going to see where all these characters lead off to finally. We're going to see all the pieces coming together. So it has to be good. Not saying the first season was bad, but, first season just had a little unnecessary stuff, but it built up. It had a great way of building up. So season 2, it's time to see the action go down. And that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm really curious and very excited to see how these stories weave into the movie. As they said, it just changes the movie completely.
Yep.
Yeah, so excited, very excited. In other news, we can jump into the the more novel side of things for Star Wars. You did send me this one. It was a Star Wars comic being announced. The Star Wars Battle of Jakku. Yeah. Republic
comes out November.
Siege is a upcoming limited series arriving this November, featuring Luke Skywalker and Mon Mothma. So it seems like we're building
more lore. It's like, remember Jakku was where Rey is from, her family's at. So, as we saw in The Force Awakens, she's basically in like a graveyard of ships where we will see all these ships,
this battle
how they appear. Yeah. We'll see that battle that they had there. Will we get maybe, who knows, maybe we'll see a young Palpatine, his clone or something, a baby Rey get mentioned or something. You never know. We'll see with these things.
I'm kind of interested to see how they intertwine this within the sequels. As
the movies,
it didn't seem as exciting to me. And even Tatooine, I feel like Tatooine was more based in what Jakku is. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. And then you did show me this. It's the back cover of the upcoming Star Wars Encyclopedia. Yep. So just kind of breaking down more of the Star Wars lore of things, right?
Yeah, now that it's expanded, now that they're including the sequels and they're including the shows and everything too, we might get a better sense and idea of everything and everyone, really. Just expand the book. There's a bunch of books already like that out. I have a couple. So we'll see how it goes.
They are walking into a trap because they're gonna say they're gonna break canon, and then they're gonna break canon, and then everyone's gonna lose their mind. You published this. I thought this was canon.
Yep, Kiadi Mundi. When's his birthday?
No, seriously. In the video game side of Star Wars, we have the Star Wars Season Pass trailer for the upcoming game, Star Wars Outlaws. Again, are you interested in purchasing this game? Are you gonna buy it?
Nah, but if it comes to free on the Game Pass on Xbox, I'ma play it. But we'll see. I don't know. I gotta look at the reviews. I gotta look at the gameplay. Some of the stuff I saw was a little buggy.
I think you gotta buy it to tell the viewers here, man. You gotta promote it to the viewers here.
Hey man, we ain't got that much subscribers yet. These fools don't like the photo. The video. I might because I do like Ubisoft games. I like the Assassin's Creed games, and from what I've heard, it's basically the same thing. Was there some cheap stuff? Yeah, it's a little cheap. Like the helmet hit. Like all she does to knock out a helmet, she just smacks his head. It's a hard helmet. Like you're like, what? Like, all right, cool. Like that's cool, I guess. Gold. Yeah, it's like what the hell are these helmets made out of? Freaking ceramic? Like Jesus. So there's that. Do
you know? We'll see how many hours of gameplay this is.
I don't know yet.
Survivor mode, Jedi Survivor era territory where it's 40 to 60 hours of gameplay or something like that.
Well, I mean, we'll see once the reviews start pouring out for the game. That's really where you start getting a sense of where it's at. They haven't dropped yet, but when they do, we'll see. And I guess I'll have to bite the bullet and play the game for you guys, for many viewers. No, but the season pass though, So the season pass trailer.
So they're really they're really trying to stick with us in making sure we're playing with the game for a long period of time. As these season passes seem they're going to continue. It seems like there's multiple, no?
It's insane. It reminds me of like the Suicide Squad game. but
Shout
it's cool though because
57 players still playing that game.
Hey, I'm one of them. Number 2 in the world, baby. Yeah, in the trailer we got to see Lando, and then we also get to see Hondo, and then we also get to see Jabba. So there's a bunch of stuff going down. We'll see how it all goes down. Yeah, if there's
Yeah.
lore breaking stuff, I don't think no one would really care because it's a game. But we'll see.
Are they making this video game canon to the universe?
Jeez, I mean, they might because they made Star Wars Battlefront 2 canon, their story mode.
I don't see any conflict in this game though,
I
unless
I don't
they
either.
go
Yeah, I mean, she's
deeper into
probably
the
gonna die.
story.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll see what
so
happens. I don't think she
again,
will, but I mean,
uh, I do appreciate them bringing in characters that we do know already. I know people say it makes the universe feel smaller, but I think it makes it feel bigger seeing how
it
these
does.
characters are making impacts throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in the same business, pirating. Like, it's a pretty
Right?
small circle of pirates. I feel like I don't think it's
I
big.
think
Like,
so.
oh, everyone's a pirate. No, because if everybody was a pirate, there would be a war against the pirates.
Jabba's the gangster for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, he's a kingpin.
He is.
So we'll see what happens.
In our other set of news, we have that Dave Filoni is confirmed to be co-writing The Mandalorian and Grogu per The Hollywood Reporter, alongside Jon Favreau for the movie.
Oh yeah,
Are you
it's gonna be
surprised?
good.
I'm not really surprised.
I'm not surprised, but I'm glad that they're both doing that because initially, when we heard the news about this, we had heard that it was just going to be Dave Filoni. And we heard this news probably like almost a year ago. So when it was announced, they just said, "Oh, this is Dave Filoni's movie." They didn't
Oh,
mention
that's
Jon
right.
Favreau. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
so it's kind of a relief. I'm not saying nothing bad about Dave. I love Dave, but because this is his first movie, that was my initial worry. So I'm glad that John is going to be there because John has always been really good at like establishing characters. Even though some may say he's not the greatest director, I think he does a pretty good job with a lot of the films that he does good with. So, what
I
are your
mean,
thoughts on that? What do you
his
feel?
movie Iron Man was the
Yeah,
groundbreaking first step into what the Marvel universe is, and I don't think without
yeah,
that movie you don't get
yeah,
the audience or fans that came for that first movie.
yeah. And then some may argue it's one of the best movies of the Marvels. So, but we'll see where the story goes. I'm kind of hoping it ties in with Thrawn, but we'll see. I'm kind of hoping. Like I said, we don't know yet because. What do you think?
I wonder if Jon Favreau being a bigger part of it as well will help them dive deeper into this era between Return of the Jedi to
Yeah.
Force Awakens. So I wonder if they're gonna, if that's
Mm-hmm.
their plan, especially with the
Mm-hmm.
Rey movie coming out as well. Are they just trying to build a great foundation to what that is and build upon that before the Force Awakens or what, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is a great way of showing that just the Empire still lives. I mean, we don't know if like they're gonna mention Palpatine somewhere, or if they're gonna have Thrawn. If they're gonna have Thrawn, Thrawn's gonna be like, "Yeah, I know Palpatine's alive," But I don't know if they're gonna do a little shout out like that. We don't even know if Thrawn's gonna be in there, but it would be interesting to have the world building and connecting the story because I'm pretty sure, like you and I have always talked about this behind the scenes of this, that the purpose of the Mandalorian was to help establish that world and then eventually bridge it to the Force Awakens. And obviously it may not be Mando meeting Rey, but still though, we'll start seeing how the world is the way it was in the Force Awakens. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I'm just I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I'm still not personally a fan of the cloning story as they
Okay.
tried to build it with the Bad Batch, which it did make more sense as they did talk about it and discuss it and dive deeper into it with the Bad Batch as it
Yeah.
connects to the later movies, but and even Mandalorian, the universe there. But I'm still not a big fan of it just because I know where it leads to, and I don't think it's that great of a payoff.
I mean, yeah, the thing with season 3 of Mandalorian was that I was like, okay, so it's like Moff Gideon cloning himself, and if he's cloning himself,
Which he
why is
was,
he
right?
cloning
At the
himself?
end of
Yeah,
that,
no, he was.
the
So
finale? Yeah.
yeah, that's why it confused me because I'm like, why the hell is he cloning himself? Isn't this whole purpose was for Palpatine? That was my issue with it. I was like, wasn't this for Palpatine? Why is he cloning himself? Like, so you're telling me this whole time from season 1 to season 3, we thought, oh, the cloning's connected to Palpatine. It was just for Moff Gideon the whole time. I don't know. That's my issue. I don't know. Could be wrong, but we'll
I guess
see.
that's a topic of its own thing, but
But
like you
I swear to
mentioned,
God, I'm calling it right now. If Moff Gideon's the villain in the movie, I'll be mad as hell. He
why?
should be dead. Because he should be dead. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. We need to be done with this guy.
Palpatine's alive.
Yeah, but Palpatine's different. He's just a douche. He doesn't die. But Moff Gideon needs to die. It's ridiculous.
We didn't see him die, man. He was in the mask and everything.
Oh my god. I know I have a Funko Pop signed by the actor, and it's Moff Gideon, and I'm just like looking at him like, oh man, don't come back, please.
Don't come.
Let's see what happens.
Stay there. Stay there.
Please stay in the box. Nah,
But as we were talking about, I do enjoy that era just because we see how the Empire is still trying to be relevant in this time after the fall of
yeah.
that era after Return of the Jedi. So seeing how they're still relevant there, how there's still people that follow or believe in the Empire, and there's just a lot of conflict, and I think there's a lot to discuss there. And what better person to write that and dive into that than Dave Filoni, which he has proven himself in countless amount of times in the Clone Wars and Rebels of diving into these big topics and these big eras and these big politics and all of this conflict and making us think bigger than what is face value of what Star Wars is, which I really do appreciate.
And the best part about all this is that he's gonna he's going to invite George Lucas to watch the filming, because he was doing that for the whole Mandalorian series. He would invite him to go. So
he brought him on Ahsoka as well, right?
Yeah. Yep. So hey, that's good. But to me that's cool, because it's like he'll watch it and go, oh, this is good, I like this, or he'll add stuff. Maybe they're not telling us that, but I'm pretty sure on the down low he's like, hey, do this. Because it's his story still. I mean, even though he doesn't own it anymore, it's still his story.
I know, but I do believe that Dave is the only one to uphold his wishes.
And John too.
Oh, definitely, and John.
Yeah, John. Yeah,
uphold it and believe in what he critiques or advice and feedback he does have for the projects.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna talk to Kathy.
Nah.
And
we've seen, as this was proven in the sequel movies, because they just threw away George's scripts. They wanted to do something brand new. I mean, I know Dave was consulted, but I know his vision wasn't fully realized with those movies, as he was only a consul at that time. So fair to say for that, but it is rough. What it is. Let's just try to move on and kind of keep our head up high for the new projects.
I got faith.
But maybe, and I believe the main message in this is maybe the season 2 not being renewed is a big awakening and trying to figure out and fish through what may be interesting to the audience for us, right?
Quality, It's like quality. It's sad because it's okay for sure, it's quality. But another thing Disney, I feel like, needs to understand, and I'm not saying this as someone that agrees with the crowd or anything, but I don't know, like since maybe the pandemic, when people have been staying home watching Disney movies because they bought Disney Plus and all those movies went on there, you have been hearing a lot of people complain about the woke stuff that they add in movies. Like, so be that as that may, I'm not saying I agree with it or everything. I'm pretty much taking a neutral stance. I mean, most of the time I'm like, it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I'm like, was that necessary? So I feel like Disney really... No. Okay, hey, chill.
Yeah.
No, but hang on, let me cook. Wait. No, but I feel like if they really want to get a sense of the crowd and everything, that might be a topic they need to really address to everybody. They want representation. I'm cool with that. Let's do it. And everything. But there's some stuff sometimes, like the Acolyte, when they're like, "Hey, so what's up with this tracker? Is it he or they?" And you're like, "He's an alien, bro." Like, and he said, "Yeah, why does that matter?" Like, so, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to speak on it that much, but I'm just saying that, like, if they want to do quality control, that's something that has to be on the agenda for sure.
Well, quality main priority, but like we always said, we've always been neutral on this. We've kind of just watched both sides fight. But Star Wars is an all-inclusive world that everyone of any race, any sexuality, any preference can be a part of.
I love Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Me and my Gungans, we hard.
Yeah. So the big thing is that it's an all-inclusive universe that's not exclusive to anyone of any just specific type of personality or person wise. And let's just all enjoy what we can, you know. I mean, the conflicts is cool because we get to watch it as neutrals. See the two sides fight, which is entertainment. We could talk about
it's funny.
But that's what that is. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we close off here?
No, but I like to add that if we're still doing this, which I hope we are in the future, I want to go to D23 for the next D23. And I think the way you go, from what I understand, I don't know if anyone knows, and if anybody watches us, can you please comment and correct us if I'm wrong? But I think you have to pay a membership in order to go and to get this, basically, like the all access badge and everything. I don't know how it works. If that's the only way to do it, I think maybe we should probably invest in that, because D23 is becoming like their version of Comic-Con. And, you know, it's something that we should really see. And I don't know, I just...
Put it out in the universe, really, man. Put it out in the universe. Let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah. Get some support.
I think we're closing off right now. It's been a pleasure to spend this 30 minutes with anyone who's made it past or to the end of this video. We're signing off. It's Jordan and Christian Terry as your hosts for this Project Stardust podcast. We're on episode 11. That's almost 3 months in the making of this project.
We was cooking.
We appreciate anyone's time that anyone has put into just hanging out with us for a little bit. And
watch this while you're driving.
Watch it while you're driving. Don't crash.
Yeah. Don't crash. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, maybe you could. I'm not the one to tell you.
You don't gotta look at our faces.
Do what you want.
Listen to us.
Yeah, listen to our beautiful voices.
Yeah. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.